starting lineups look like this. Start with Dallas. We'll change. Rafe LaFrentz comes back into the starting lineup. Bradley on the bench. And for the Lakers, the big guy in the middle.
Well, the key is how do you defend Shaq on the defensive end, and defensively for Shaq, can he be the force that he's been? Probably not until he works himself into shape.
How good has the backcourt been for Dallas? Nash and Finley together averaging almost 40 points. They go up against Kobe Bryant and Derek Fisher, who's going to be challenged defensively tonight.
Oh, and the key for Fisher is to get back. Don't get sucked in trying to get offensive rebounds. Try to get back, stop penetration, because Nash looks like he plays out of control, but he doesn't. He always knows where he is, as well as his teammates.
Joey Crawford will be the crew chief, along with Ron Olesiak and Benny Adams here tonight. If you were watching with us earlier, all the focus on Shaq and Kobe. Bryant was out here 3+ hours before tip, working on his outside shot. 17-1 Dallas. Only 3 teams in the history of the league have gotten off to a better start, but they know they are 0 for their last 23 against the Lakers at the Forum and at the Staples Center. They hope to change that tonight. The Lakers start with the basketball. Bryant, early by Griffin. Slava Medvedenko thought he might be out 6 weeks with a broken pinky, but he's in the starting lineup tonight. 8 to shoot as Fox drives in. Tried the wraparound for Shaq, and Rafe LaFrentz, who came back off that knee injury and returned to the starting lineup, gets the first turnover.
And that's what you have to do if you're your Lakers. You have to get back on defense and find guys, because Dallas is one of the teams, one of the few in the NBA that will fire quick.
Off the Michael Finley miss. Lakers bring it back the other way. Shaq pinned LaFrentz down there, and the early foul, first on Rafe. Here's Sal Masakela.
Hey, guys, you know, Tuesday night against Toronto, the Raptors played Dallas very, very physical, to the point where Dirk Nowitzki ended up with a bursa sac injury to his elbow. I asked him about that physicality. He said, you know what? That's the only way that teams can play us, because that's the only way they can beat us. He said no one is as skilled as us or as deep as us. We have to come out here and play physical every night. You know Shaq is going to play him physical. Be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, Nowitzki got banged around, Sal. Here comes this one's going the other way on the Lakers. His second violation. Nowitzki had the bursa sac injury to his elbow, had to leave during the third quarter, came back and was hot from the field the rest of the game, and picked it up in his last outing as he scored 26 in the victory against Portland.
Looks like one of those things Iron Sheik used to wear, doesn't it? Drop the elbow on you from the top rope. But I guess I would contend that Sacramento probably is as skilled and as deep as Dallas, but the only team.
Michael Finley, who always seems to get off to a good start. How many times have you seen the Mavs, and that little elbow jumper by Finley gets them going?
And the one thing he does, maybe better than anybody in the league, is that jump stop, where he's going out of control, and all of a sudden he stops, plants, and he's got money.
Well, Medvedenko showing no ill effects, playing with a splint on that broken pinky. They thought it was a tendon injury, and he was going to have to miss as much as 2 months, but was able to go through the shoot-around and is fine. And so is Steve Nash, who hits the 3 to put the Mavs back on top.
These guys are just so much fun to watch, because you never know when they're just going to let loose. They come down. If I have an open shot, I'm going to take it. I'm not going to wait and run the offense.
Big fella couldn't hang on. Nash on the push. Looks like he's out of control with the dribble, but he collects, and Nowitzki connects with a 3.
Well, like I said, he knows where his teammates are, and you think, oh, God, this guy's out of control. He's going to fire one off Jack Nicholson's nugget, and not only does he not do that, he hits Nowitzki right in perfect rhythm, and you get a 3.
You know, it's a big game. Nicholson's here. Spielberg's here. They show up early. Shaq,
look out.
Pat LaFrentz, no problem. So O'Neal, who's hitting 48% from the field, which sounds good, except for Shaq, who career is well over 50%. Bryant called with a hand on the body of Adrian Griffin.
And with Shaq, the key's always been position. You got to fight him. You got to fight him. In front right there, you have to have help behind. Nowitzki there a little late, and you get a dunk. And a good decision not to jump at that point.
Fisher, that tough assignment of Nash. Got all the way around. Griffin didn't catch it. Griffin's offense must come early because he's on the bench after a few minutes usually. LaFrentz from the outside of 3. So the Mavs have hit 3 threes here in the first 2.5.
And you notice early on in the game what most of the Mavericks have in common. They can all penetrate. They can all handle the ball, and they can all find open players.
Dallas so good from behind the arc. They are 3rd in the league, shooting nearly 40%. And feed O'Neal. It'll be interesting to see as the night goes on defensively what they do. LaFrentz beats Shaq down the other end, and that's part of the problem if O'Neal gets positioned underneath.
Yep, and that's one thing that, you know, if you're going to give up, you know you're giving up 80-odd pounds on offense. you run him on defense. Make him run defensively, I mean.
Right away, Phil Jackson called for time. The coach who's won 3 titles here. 9 titles in his career. Looking to pass Red Auerbach and get number 10 this year, but the 7-13 start have some concern in L.A. But for O'Neal, it's like the preseason's done as Shaq plays tonight in Game 9. A couple of field goals early, but more threes from the Mavs. Have Dallas on top by 7. It's been like walking that long mile in New Orleans. Teams haven't lost there. They're 10-0 at home. Michael Duncan Clark in that movie role, and there is Jack. Showing up early. Checking out the game notes, too. Steven Spielberg sitting a couple of seats down from us here, courtside at the Staples Center. They're all here to see the 17-1 Mavs and maybe let the Lakers know that it's time to get down to business as well. After the timeout, go back to O'Neal to start the triangle. Fisher penetrates, and LaFrentz came over for the block. Medvedenko kept it alive, 5 to shoot. Kobe sees it, strokes it. And the rebound by Nowitzki.
Well, that's a situation where they just weren't going to let Shaq get the ball. LaFrentz in front of him, Nowitzki behind him. That time they weren't going to allow the lob. Medvedenko's got to slash up towards the middle and see if he can avail himself to Kobe Bryant.
Griffin left free, and the Mavs are 4 for 4 from behind the arc in the first 4 minutes. They lead by 10 already.
That'll open up a defense. I mean, that's going to open up driving lanes later on in the game just by hitting those early threes.
Nowitzki over for help. Too much. The Shaq Daddy. O'Neal makes it an 8-point lead for Dallas. 3 inside hoops for O'Neal, 1 for Medvedenko. Nothing from the outside guys. That time Slava got the 7-footer Nowitzki on the arm. Don Nelson is having fun. 200-plus wins for the Mavs, over 1,000 in his career. Well, Don Nelson's playing career, famous for his 5 titles as part of the Boston Celtics, the retired number 19. That playing career started with the LA Lakers.
And he's having a blast coaching this Dallas Maverick team. I talked to him before the game, and I was just saying, like, Coach, this reminds me a lot of the Golden State teams that I played on. Run TMC, Timmy, Mitch, Chris, even guys like Rod Higgins and Terry Teagle. All these guys are the same type of players, a little bigger than we were at Golden State. And he says, you know, Tom, I love playing this style of basketball. It's a lot of fun to have skilled players on the court, put them in position to do their thing.
Nowitzki, the 85% shooter, missed them both. Nash came down to help, and Shaq was fouled. So it's a very steady diet of Shaquille O'Neal, who has had more success against the Dallas Mavericks, no matter who have been wearing whatever type of Maverick uniforms they had, than any other team that he's played over his NBA career.
Well, they just don't have anybody that can match up. Well, no, what am I saying? Nobody has anybody that can match up with that guy. And you see right there, it's all about positioning with him. If he catches the ball in the paint, forget about it. It's all over. You might as well save yourself from being on a poster in some 8-year-old's room next year. Just get out of the way.
You see the numbers for the Lakers came back with a vengeance, those 2 early wins, but only a couple of wins over Memphis, 1 in overtime in the last 6 since the O'Neal return.
Well, they're at their best when Shaq's in good shape and he can play defense like a demon. He can block shots, he can always score no matter how big he is. But when he's dominant defensively, that's when the Lakers are at their best.
Nash tried to hit LaFrentz cutting, came out to Finley. First 3-point miss of the night for Dallas. There's Rick Fox being looked to for leadership and production. This little trial time for LA. Backdoor cut by Bryant, but he could not catch and convert. So Kobe's not in the flow here in the early going. Off the scoreboard, first 5 minutes. LaFrentz wasn't ready for the Nash dish. Medvedenko double dribble. 5 Laker turnovers in the first 5 minutes.
You gotta like Steve Nash too. I mean, he passes it to Rafe LaFrentz, hit him right in the hands. How many times did you see a point guard shaking his head? Like, you gotta catch that. Nash just went up to Rafe LaFrentz and said, my bad. That was a bad pass. We were too close. I fired it too hard. He's maturing into a leader, and a lot of people thought he was going to be real good early on in his career. It's taken a little while, but he's fulfilled all those prophecies.
There is Nash, that is vintage Steve Nash. Seems to never score from the same release point if you watch him for an entire night, except for the end of the game against Toronto earlier this week, where he and Nowitzki used the screen and roll to perfection. Same play, back-to-back sets to close out the Raptors at home.
I don't know how you guard him. The hair just goes everywhere. You want to talk about a great pump fake.
Fisher tried to step back, couldn't lose him, and Nowitzki on the board. Dirk is 6th in the league in rebounding and 11th in scoring.
Well, that's one thing you look at the Mavericks and you say, where do they get their rebounding? There are no dominant rebounders on this team, but Nowitzki's not a physical guy, but he battles. He gets in there because he knows he has to. I mean, they're not a big rebounding team, but he gets it done.
Nash looking for the foul along the baseline, so were Nelly and Del Harris, his chief lieutenant. Tough spot for Medvedenko to catch it. Kobe wants to score and picked up the offensive foul. That's 2 on Bryant. So a struggle for Kobe here, a turnover, a missed field goal, and a couple of personal fouls. Well, one of the reasons that the rebounding and all the numbers have helped the defensive end, Dallas has improved that defense, one of the poorest in the leagues last year. Now their team defense against the field goal, 41.4. That is 3rd best in the NBA.
Well, a stat that they're well aware of is last year for Sacramento in the playoffs, 227 field goals they gave up, 115 layups and dunks. They had that up in their locker room, so they knew they could continue on that vein if they wanted to win an NBA championship, and so far, they're buying into it.
Finley missed. Bryant to the bench with 2 fouls, so Brian Shaw comes in for the Lakers. Sean Fisher in the backcourt with Fox, Medvedenko, and Shaq. Look for a big dose of the Big Daddy. O'Neal will shoot some free throws. And the foul's on LaFrentz. It will be Rafe's 2nd. And no surprise, all 3 Maverick fouls thus far have been fouling O'Neal. So Shaq's going to come to the free throw line where, although his first attempt was 1 of 2, he has been better, 64% thus far this season. And if you remember back to the playoffs, he was a 65% shooter in the playoffs last year. You see Shaq's field goal percentage story, 3rd all-time in the NBA history, career field goal percentage, but under 50% thus far this season.
Well, I'll go back to being out of shape, and that's not affecting his legs, I don't think. But when you're out of shape, you don't have as much energy to get great position, is what the deal is. And when you're in great shape, you can get in that position. And you notice right there, when he misses free throws, he's falling backwards. If he falls forward, generally he'll make those free throws, and that's a sign of a good free throw shooter, leaning into the shot.
Popeye Jones in the game for Dallas. Nash in the cut was fouled by Fisher out high. We also have Robert Horry in for the Lakers. Well, a bunch of talent out here, whether it's Nash, Nowitzki, Finley, Shaq, Kobe. Which players will be all-star starters? Well, you can log on to NBA.com and cast your ballot for the 2003 NBA All-Star Game at Phillips Arena in Atlanta in February. Nick Van Exel getting that mixed reaction, the former LA Laker on the court with Nash. There is Nash once again. Just chart them all, where he shoots from. Been one scoop to the hoop, one kind of push shot on the run.
He loves the runner. I mean, he loves it just off 1 foot, and that gives you a chance to get the shot off before the defense gets set.
Offensive on Shaq.
And Shaq saying he was inside the semicircle, too. And I'm not so sure he wasn't inside the semicircle. Let's see where his feet is right there. Feet are in. Well, I tell you what, that was pretty close.
Guys are so good at it. They shuffle those feet just to get outside the circle. It cannot be, as you well know, a foul on the defense. If the feet are inside. Nash off the miss. Fisher the rebound.
The Lakers got to try to press going the other way. You got to try to get easy buckets against their defense.
Shaw needs some shooters here in LA. That one was almost too quick off the hands. Dallas tries to extend his 10-point edge. Van Exel blocked by Fox for the foul.
So he just used the body right here. That's what happened. He got him on the arm going up. And he's a tough guy to guard, regardless of what you're trying to guard him from a point guard position. Rick Fox getting caught in a tough position as a small power forward, trying to guard Nick Van Exel. And he's so herky-jerky. With the moves he makes, he's up, he's down, he's sideways. And this is a guy who coming over, and you look right there before the injury, the knee, and then after, the minutes, the points, everything looks to be feeling a lot better. It's a nice luxury to have this guy coming off the bench. 17 points, 17 points in the last 3 games. He got the socks going, the knee pads. He maybe doesn't want to show any skin. He could be shy.
There's very little skin shown here.
I don't think Nick's very shy.
Former Lakers, second-round draft pick by LA in '93. Boy, has he worked out well. 5-minute drought for the Lakers in the field goal department. They continue to feed O'Neal. Missed the dunk. And was fouled as he went back at it. I think they got Popeye Jones for holding on to Shaq's arm.
We want to watch Shaq here getting position and inside. Look out. Uh-oh. Whoops. Gonna give him the foul on that one. I think Shaq wanted a little bit of a foul, but the Lakers are standing around too much. Let's just get it to Shaq and stand around. Let's get some movement.
Are you a good lip reader?
Pretty good. Not as good as you,
Shaq said,
obviously.
please call the foul, sir. Or that was what he intended to say. May not have come out that way. Mavs by 12. Shaq has led the league in field goal percentage the last 5 years. His percentage is fine right now, Tom. The rest of the guys are the issue for LA.
Well, Slava Medvedenko's the only guy that's been able to hit a jump shot. Nobody has been able to hit, and I think it's a result of just standing, just so eager to get the ball to Shaq. You got to penetrate and kick it out.
Derek Fisher missed. Fans wanted the foul on Nowitzki. It's out off of Dallas. And will be a Laker ball. Well, with Kobe Bryant, 2 fouls on the bench here early going in the first quarter. All this talk of the Lakers unable to get into a rhythm, not able to communicate in the triangle and the nuances of it as well as they could if everyone was healthy from the start of the season. That will just get magnified. One of the guys that makes the triangle go is on the bench. It's a team that you can fall behind very easily. Fox the miss. O'Neal kept it alive and was just grabbed by Popeye.
Popeye's got 6 to give. And if he's out there long enough, he'll give up all 6. I guarantee you that.
Well, he's played 15 minutes all season. So Popeye's not going to be out there for very long, that's for sure.
Well, as we know, I mean, Nelly's one of the first guys that started the hack of Shaq. He's going to give fouls under there. He's not going to let Shaq dunk on your head. He's going to make you go to the line and run it. And just keep an eye on him when you're watching him shoot free throws. When he moves forward, that's when he has his best chance to make it. Sometimes he backs up and goes side to side, and that's when he misses.
Knock down both of those. O'Neal 10 of the Laker 12. Dallas by 10, trying to snap a 23-game losing streak against the Lakers in LA. Popeye hands to Nash. Kicks it to Finley, who is altered by O'Neal and lost it out of bounds. He and the rest of the Mavs wanted the foul on Shaq, but Joey Crawford tells Nelly it's enough, Tom. All LA has done is send it inside to the big fella. Let's see what they do on this trick.
Let's see how they attack the 2-3 zone. First of all, you have to recognize the zone. You can't just stand around. You need dribble penetration to make 2 guys guard 1. That's when you find your open perimeter players.
Outside shooting always helps you get the other guys out of the zone, and Fisher gets the good bounce to end the 6-minute field goal drought for the Lakers. And the Mavs have been stuck on 22 for a few here. Gotten back to a Laker tempo the last few minutes. Nowitzki lost it. Good defense by Ori. Shaw bounces to Ori.
Whoa. Almost buckled that time. They're right back at you.
Finley on the push. O'Neal got a piece. No foul. Shaq runs the floor. Ori. And a technical foul on Don Nelson. That was the 4th consecutive trip that Nelly wanted to call and didn't get it. The Lakers have scored the last 8 to get back in it.
Well, he wanted the foul on Finley driving to the hole. He wanted the foul on the steal. I mean, he wants a foul, and Finley wanted a foul there. Then Finley came back down and took the jump shot, and I think he thought he got hit in the hand by Shaq.
Nelly asking for a travel on Ori on that end. Fisher makes it a 9-0 run.
That looked good to me. It just looked awkward. It was an awkward-looking play, but I don't think it was a travel. And Joey Crawford's not a guy that's going to take a whole lot either.
The son, Donnie Nelson. He gets in the way there. So the Lakers have answered back from down a dozen to within 3. Van Exel in the lane. Kicked it to Nowitzki. So a foul called as the ball was in the air. On Robert Horry for the push. So Donnie on the left and Del Harris, the former Laker coach, on the right, was the coach for LA, 95 through the early part of the lockout shortening 99.
That's the one he wanted right there, too. I mean, there was about 3 or 4 of them he wanted, but that one clearly, Shaq clipped him on the wrist, and that's why that shot came up short. I'll tell you what, though. Nelly really wanted to get on the court. Del and Donnie aren't holding him back, okay? Nelly wants to get out on the court. He can get out on the court.
Ronald Jerome Jones made them both. Popeye has a better ring to it than Ronald Jerome Jones.
Yeah.
Ron Jones is just a bunch of Ron Joneses out there. You say Popeye, you know who you're talking about. 10-year man out of Murray State. Doing this with Bryant on the bench. Shaq looking inspired. Got to Fisher. That's 3. Murray crashed the glass to keep it alive. And picked up the 3rd foul on Popeye Joe.
It's more aggressive. You can feel it. The last 3 minutes, it took that little spurt where they got some balls and got some fast breaks to get going, but you can see the intensity pick up, not only on the defensive end, but the offensive end. Guys crashing the boards, guys trying to get to seams and find other guys. And you could see it physically. A lot of times they just kind of, in the early part of the game, just standing around, but now trying to be more aggressive.
1 ring for every finger. Number 5 has 1 more coming. Here are the national games on TV next week. Blazers, Nets, and these Mavs taking on the Spurs in their first meeting of the year. And then on TNT on Thursday, their doubleheader will be Detroit, Chicago, and New Orleans taking on the Utah Jazz. Give you an idea what's coming up nationally next week. Sean Bradley checks into the game for the Mavs. Here's Sal Masakela.
You guys might have missed it. Samaki just tried to check in, and Shaq looked over at Phil and said, "Nah, I'm not tired, and waved him off. Looks like he's trying to hang in there right now and not blow this.
Okay, Sal, here's Nick Van Exel. Quick Nick 3, the 5th one for the Mavs. And we should point out, when you say Samaki, you mean Samaki Walker, who is back, not Sumaila Samaki. The Lakers released Sumi Samaki, the 2nd-year 7-footer out of Mali in Northwest Africa, released earlier today. Fisher missed the 2. Horry kept it alive. It's out off Nowitzki. And Laker ball. One other, as you look at Samaki Walker, ready to get back in after the back strain had him on the injured list. One other roster note regarding these teams, as you may have seen on the bottom line throughout the day, Eduardo Nahara for Dallas will be out 6 to 8 weeks, had his knee scoped in Texas today. Rick Fox cuts the Mavericks lead to 6 at the 1-minute mark, first quarter. The absence of Nahara hurts the depth a little bit of Dallas, but they've got such a deep group. 10 guys who have starting experience in the NBA. Nash bodied by Fisher, and the whistle called on the outside. 2 on Derek, so the starting guards for LA. Fisher and Bryant have picked up 2 fouls here in the opening quarter.
Well, that's a tough one to take if you're Derek Fisher, because you felt like you kept your body in front of Steve Nash. He initiated the contact, but that's just a good move by the offensive player, initiating that contact and forcing Joey Crawford to make a call.
One more for Steve, who is 2nd in the NBA. Free throw percentage at 90. The Gordon Girasek of Memphis, a better free throw shooter. Walt Williams is coming to the game for the Mavs. And Nowitzki will take a break at the end of the quarter. Dallas is led by as many as a dozen. They lead it by 8. 29-21.
I think the Lakers try to get a 2-for-1 here with 40 seconds left.
Chance to watch the Mavs play a little zone defense with Van Exel and Nash out top. Shaq, the bounce to Horry. Picked up the foul on Sean Bradley. Whistle happy opening quarter here, and that goes to what Sal said at the very top of the show. A physical game is not what Dallas plays best, but it's a challenge that they're going to have to face as time goes on. LaFrentz picked up some early ones. And Kobe was the one who got in the most trouble, picking up 2 fouls and a couple of bad shots in the offensive end.
Well, they're going to draw a lot of fouls just by the way they play, and they create a lot of mismatches, and that's how they get to the free throw line. The Lakers are going to try to pound it into Shaq, and then I guess it looks like Shaq said, okay, I'll come out now. Samaki Walker coming in. I used to hate that too when you got yo-yoed like that. And what I mean by that is the coach will tell you to go in, then all of a sudden you tell you to come back. It's like, oh, yo-yo, back on the court. You think you're getting in? No, you're not.
So the 2 big guns for LA on Phil Jackson's bench. We're at the end of the opening quarter. Samaki Walker been on the injured list since November 26th with that back strain. And Horry kept it alive. He's been fabulous here in the first quarter. Robert Horry's been a difference maker for the Lakers.
And give Walker a lot of credit on that one too. Coming in, he got the initial touch to keep that alive so Robert Horry can clean it up.
Last shot of the quarter belongs to Dallas. Nowitzki came back in at that last timeout. Nick kicked it in the corner. Finley couldn't knock down the 3. End of 1 at Staples.
And the kind of effort you need to get back into games is get on the offensive board, get yourself some easy hoops, and right there, see Walt Williams with the ball. Samaki Walker is the one that keeps it alive, and Robert Horry is going to be the one to clean it up as the Dallas Mavericks lead by 5. That's pretty good.
I saw that and I refused to write it down.
I didn't write it down. I just remembered it.
No stupid, no stupider stat than opponent's free throw percentage.
Why bother?
I shouldn't say that. Kobe back in the game with 2 fouls. He almost knocked it off Nash. Steve got it back. 6 to shoot. Got in the lane over Bryant. And the rebound comes down to Kareem Rush, who's in the game with Tracy Murray. A very small lineup. Devin George also in the game for the Lakers. So Bryant, Rush, Murray in there for LA. With Horry and George up front.
I wouldn't be surprised they try to get Kobe. Kobe's got Nash on him right now. Of course, Dow switches everything, and now Walt Williams on him.
To the shoot. Bryant has not had a good open look tonight, but creates right there for his first field goal of the evening.
Well, that's a feature of a Don Nelson coach team. If you get pick downs and you're similar size, you switch out is what you try to do. And that's what happened right there. They saw Steve Nash mismatch and let Walt Williams take Kobe.
Nash kicked it out. No room with the double. The Lakers defense has been pretty aggressive here out top on Nash. Trying to get close that time. Williams knew the shot clock was running down, but he had a second more. Finley the deflection, but Horry brings it back down. So the Lakers, who've been down a dozen already, can get within 1 or tie the game. Tracy Murray didn't miss a field goal in the Lakers' last game, but he turned it over there. Nash out of control, but drew the foul. Bryant finally getting on the board.
Well, you're going to see Walt Williams switching out right there. This is a tough shot. I mean, you're just going to put it right in your face, little pump. Walt didn't really go for it. Williams and Kobe just shooting up over it, and maybe that tough shot will get him going.
Kobe Bryant, 28 points a game, 3rd in the NBA, behind only Tracy McGrady and Allen Iverson. One more free throw coming for Steve Nash.
And this one thing you can't do with them, you can't put them on the line. They're the best free throw shooting team in the league. And these guys can all shoot free throws, so you got to try to keep them off the line as much as possible.
That stat is relevant.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I believe that one is relevant. Who thought of that, by the way? Let's put a defense. I mean, you don't defend a free throw.
You know what I was going to say?
Anything making you smart, so you like know the guys to foul. So it's.
What about the opponent's free throw percentage at your place? Maybe your crowd makes it tough to shoot free throws. The only relevance potentially for that stat. Devin George, who's also been banged up, slow to recover from his ankle injury. Just 2 points in 9 minutes in the loss to Utah the other night against the field goal. Van Exel couldn't get it to go. Fans wanted to travel. Tracy Murray the rebound.
All right, it's like you're trying to give Kareem Rush a C. They're playing cat. That was one of those cat shots right there. But he takes a lot of funky shots, but he makes a lot of funky shots too.
Here is Rush. Smooth stroke for the rookie out of Missouri.
Well, everything about him smooth. The way he shoots the ball is smooth. The way he handles the ball is smooth. And he's just a young guy trying to figure out his way in the triangle.
Ori on the foul. So Ori has two on Fisher, Bryant, and Ori for LA. Van Exel rushed that inbounds, knocked down the three.
You're open, shoot it. That's a good. Why run the shot clock down and get a worse shot 15 seconds later? If that's your shot and you're open, launch.
Nash and Van Exel have 19 points. A couple of threes for Nick. Bryant lost his man. Nowitzki, tallest player on the floor, comes away with the rebound. We saw Sean Bradley for like a minute, and he's back on the bench. Fake the deep three. Creates another shot for Williams. They do a nice job, as you said before, with that penetration with so many good outside shooters that really damages the defense.
Well, you get everybody scrambling. It's draw, it's pitch. You got to run out after that guy. Draw and pitch, run out after him. Oh, nice play by Nash.
Fabulous play by Nash. Knocked it away from Kareem Rush. Dove on the floor to get it to Van Exel. And Dallas extends the lead back up to 8.
What a great play. Just laying out, giving the body. Going to have a little floor burn. No big deal. Get it over to Van Exel for an easy deuce.
Holding foul on Raja Bell. He's in the lineup. Guarding Kobe. Laker ball out of bounds after this timeout.
And you want to see great hustle. A lot of guys try to pick the ball up off the floor. They won't dive after the ball. Check out Nash. A little floor burn. Get over to Nick Van Exel. Easy deuce. That's the way to get on the floor.
Nash's 4th assist. He has 11 points. Dallas +8. Diane Cannon also here tonight.
She wasn't in Wayne's World.
Nash on the bench for the first time here this evening, and out of bounds. The Lakers were on the sideline, so it'll be Dallas ball. Los Angeles turnover problems here this evening, 9 thus far. Equal team that averages 15 a game. Van Exel used the screen, threw up the air ball, and is welcomed back to the first set of NBA fans he played in front of. Fisher a three. Missed it. O'Neal right back in, so Shaq got the break for the quarter in the first 3 or 4 minute window, and he comes back in. O'Neal's minutes steadily increasing. He plays his way back into shape. Finley, tough shot over Devin George. Nice job defensively by the 30-year man George.
And a good job by Dallas, too, getting back in transition defense.
Fisher and Bryant misconnect, and the frustration of Phil Jackson looking back at Derek Fisher. It has been one of those years where they just are not on the same page, and a lot of it has to do with the combinations. With O'Neal's injury, George's injury, Ori being banged up, you have not seen the same regular combinations very often for LA. Van Exel. Glad to be back. He's hoisting at will. 3 for 6 thus far. Fisher missed a quick 2. Last touch, Ori.
And that's a bad shot. I mean, you come down and you miss a wide open 3 from the top without getting it inside. Very next possession, you shoot a 22-footer. You got to get Shaq the ball. I mean, if you make the first one, then maybe you take the second one. You miss the first one, then you try to run some clock, get Shaq a touch. If he kicks it back out, then you shoot it.
Nowitzki on the drive, lost it. Off Shaq. You know, when you look at the numbers, it's not Shaq and Kobe. Their production is there. It's everybody else. The field goal percentage for everybody else, but O'Neal and Bryant, compared to the last 2 years, is down by more than 10 or 12%.
Yeah, and a lot of that was because Shaq missed early games in the season. They didn't get the easy shots they're used to getting when Shaq's in the game. But you got that guy, he's got to touch it at least every other time down the court. And you can't go 3 or 4 possessions without letting the big fella touch the ball.
Here it is. Nowitzki at 7 feet. Bradley at 7'6". Able to knock it out of bounds, and a dozen turnovers now on the Lakers.
That's a tough matchup right there. You get 2 7-footers right in your face, and at that play, when you get 2 guys reaching in, you got to give it up and reestablish position.
Bradley missed the jumper earlier. Missed the jumper now. Finley, who struggled from the field, got the board and teed up Nowitzki. Dirk Nowitzki's hit 2 threes for all 6 of his points. And Dallas back up to a double-digit lead It's 11, and the Lakers call for time. The LA Lakers cannot take care of the ball, and it's helped contribute to another scoreless drought. 3.5 minutes without a field goal. The three-time champs are just looking to avoid going 7 games under 500 at the quarter pole. Meantime, Dallas continues its hot shot, and the frustration mounts for Phil Jackson. Timeout, Lakers. And here going for 18-1 against the Lakers. Dirk Nowitzki put it best about the early streak when the Mavs won the first 14. They said, we weren't playing for the record. We were playing basketball and having fun. I thought Don Nelson was great. He said, I wish I would have thought of that. That's exactly what was the case. Guys are just enjoying it, not consumed by the record. Sean Bradley picks up the foul on O'Neal.
Well, it's so funny. People want to find a reason why this team isn't as good as their 15-1 start or 17-1 start. Like, what are you, idiots? It's a good basketball team. 17, just the numbers should tell you that. I mean, 17 wins, 1 loss. I don't care who you're beating. Speaking of Don Nelson, it almost tried to do a Nelly shot, bounce it off the top of the backboard and go back in for Shaq. It's a good basketball team. Will they win a championship? I don't know. Shaq 4 for 7, 5 for 8 from the line. But they're going to be right there. They're not a fluke. They're a solid basketball team, and they're going to be competing for an NBA championship come the end of the season.
Well, the party line now around the country is Mavs did a lot of it against the Eastern Conference, and we know the Eastern Conference is nowhere near as good as the Western Conference. Nowitzki on the cut, got banged by the big fella, and the foul is called. Well, you know what? And the teams out west, some have gotten off to a good start, but others haven't. And the teams in the East, by and large, have gotten off to a little bit better start than we thought they might. And now Dallas is coming out west through this stretch, and they're playing good basketball. So you can shake it down all you want. At the end of the year, if you open up, let's say they go 20-1, 20-2, doesn't matter who you did it against. You still got a big advantage on the other guys as the rest of the season plays out. You can play 500, 550 ball and get home court right throughout the playoffs.
Well, it wasn't like this team, the Dallas Mavericks, were the 7th best team in the league last year, and all of a sudden, I think they're the 3rd best team in the league last year behind Sacramento and the Lakers.
Dallas leading by a dozen, looking for their 4th in a row and an 18-1 start. Fisher. Derek missed the 3. Lakers continue to struggle from the outside. Mavs look for their biggest lead of the night. Nowitzki, 2. Such a good shooter. So you always have to remind yourself, at least I do, that Dirk is 7 foot. Man, because that is such a sweet, easy-looking jump.
I want to know the lab they created him in. Probably about the same lab they created Kevin Garnett in, but he is just a matchup nightmare. Can drive, can shoot, and that's the one thing. It's a simple thing. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure this out. They can shoot the ball, and when they're open, they make more shots than other teams when they're open.
Those of you just joining us, the Lakers trailed by a dozen, battled back to within 2. Kobe Bryant was in early foul trouble. Shaq has played just fine tonight, as he is 3 of 5 from the field. But the Mavs have scored 14 of the last 15 points in the game. And over the last couple of trips, it's been the problem the Lakers have had all season. They have not had good, consistent looks. They have a 3-minute good patch, and then for 2 minutes they put up bad shots, don't play great defense, and fall behind. Nick Van Exel lost Kobe, who's back in the game, and Van Exel in double figures. So Nowitzki, Nash, and Van Exel have combined for 33 of the Mavs' 47. They're all in double figures. It's a Maverick zone. The Lakers can't shoot from the outside. It's tough to solve it. O'Neal bodies it in. Sean Bradley comes away with the rebound. It's on the push. Nowitzki rushes the corner. Finley strokes the 3. Kobe gets it off the glass and says, come on, guys, let's go. Bryant all the way. Wrap around to O'Neal. Fouled on the floor. But it was in the act of shooting. Shaq's not getting up off the floor and still trying to lay it up.
Everything is so hard for them right now. You see, that's where you want to make Shaq catch the ball outside the lane. Make him dribble in. Don't just take and shoot and let him catch and shoot. And right here, Kobe trying to get to the hole. When's the last time he's made a bucket, by the way? I haven't seen him make a bucket in a while. Right there, dishing off to Shaq. But everything, it just seems like such a grind for the Lakers to get a bucket. It's so hard for them to score points For the Mavericks, it just comes in the flow of the offense. It's easy. It's kick out. Somebody make a bucket. And that's just the difference. It's coming in the flow of the offense, and it's easy for the Mavericks, and nothing's easy for the Lakers right now.
Shaq 6 of 10 from the line. Nowitzki to the ground to keep the possession for Dallas. The best in the NBA, plus 15 as we're inside of 4 minutes. To stay through, Kevin and Timmy will have all the highlights from a busy night around the league coming up at halftime. Walt Williams on the take. Van Exel open. Got a better look for two. And Kobe got the rebound. So Bryant can't get it going from the field. He's picked up 3 rebounds so far. Ball rotation. And the feed for Shaq. Offensive. 3 on O'Neal.
Well, what do you think's going to happen when those two guys meet? I have a feeling it's going to be Bradley meeting the floor is what it's going to be. It's got to be 80, 90 pounds, I would think, difference between those two guys.
According to the program, sir, it says 75 pounds.
I'm saying no. I'm saying no to 75 pounds. I used to work at a carnival. I can do these things.
Did you, or did you just say that?
No, I did. I didn't actually guess weight, but I worked at a carnival. And
what'd you do?
Just kind of, you know, little stuff that we used to. Basically, it was like stealing. Okay, you'd have somebody to like pay $5 for a prize, and it was worth like a dime.
You make you like shooting the water guns into the clown's mouth.
Exactly. Didn't feel very good about it either. Somebody had to do it though. Somebody had to make $3.30 an hour.
Off the Adrian Griffin miss. O'Neal now on the bench. Let's see what the Lakers do for offense. Another turnover for LA. 14 turnovers for the Lakers. You see, when Shaq has been out of the game, the Lakers have only had a 1-point deficit. With him in the game, it's been a 14-point deficit. But as you watch the game offensively, the Lakers have been at their best when they've got to Shaq, because they've either gotten free throws or hoops.
Well, I think a lot of that is just the reliance on Shaq. It's just standing around. Sometimes when Shaq's under the game, everybody knows they have to move to create shots. When Shaq's in, he's kind of like the ultimate security blanket.
Like that. It was 1-on-4, and Kobe put it up. Samaki Walker in there. Rick Fox didn't shoot. The home fans getting frustrated. Walker on Nowitzki. Samaki Walker, who was a first-round draft pick of the Mavericks back in 1996, the 9th overall selection that year. Going up against his old team, which has no one that was drafted by the Dallas Mavericks. This whole roster, trades or free agents. Adrian Griffin was undrafted out of Seton Hall. He'll shoot some free throws.
That was a perfect example of that play right there, what drawing and kicking can do for you. I mean, you get the defense moving all over the place, and it's just a beautiful brand of basketball. Defense moving. Who am I going to take? Who am I going to guard? What do you end up with?
Kobe Bryant just 2 points. Shaquille O'Neal with a dozen. And plenty of trips to the free throw line. Both with some foul trouble. O'Neal on the bench with 3. Bryant has played most of the second quarter after picking up his second. And you see the problem right there. Tom, exactly what you said before. It's just coming so difficult for LA on the offensive end.
It's a grind. Nothing's easy. No easy looks, and if they are an easy look, it's a 23-foot jump shot. And Kobe only 4 field goal attempts. You know, that jumps out of you. Not so much the points, but only 4 shots this guy has had. They got to find a way to get him easy looks, get him to the free throw line.
Remember, Kobe had 47 field goal attempts at Boston earlier this year. Here is Bryant. Dished it to Murray. Such a good shooting night for Tracy Murray in the loss at Utah. 11 points in 12 minutes at every field goal he took.
Well, that's what's kept him in the league. Just being able to shoot. That guy can shoot, and he's got unlimited range.
Speaking of which, Nick Van Exel knocks down a 3, and the Mavericks lead 52-36 with 1:35 left here in the first half. Van Exel 3 threes. He has 15 points to lead all scorers here tonight. Walker across the lane, missed it. Rebound, Griffin. Mavs 52, Lakers 36. Minute 20 left before halftime. Van Exel has the space. Nash the 3. The Dallas Mavericks continue their 3-point shooting clinic 9 3-pointers for Mark Cuban's team in the first half. Mavs lead by 19, 55-36. 1 minute left, first half. Murray faked the 3, took the 2. Rebound, Finley. Dallas beat Nowitzki runs to the line and knocks down 3 more.
Man, they're just rolling them up right now. And you want to talk about confidence. There's no thinking before they pull the trigger.
Fox misses a 3, and here they come. They're going to do it in one more. Finley on the run. Harden and a foul. I mean, this is embarrassing. Remember, Dallas has not won here in their last 23 trips to LA to play the Lakers.
And the Lakers getting caught up in the Mavericks game right now. Coming down, jacking quick shots. This is the way the Mavericks want to play. Right there, Samaki Walker, horrible job of stepping up. That's an easy shot to take and a great look. And then right here, you got to find guys on the break. Murray just a little bit late, and Nowitzki says bottom. And they just feel it, just feeding it off each other, too. And Shaq thinking to himself, oh, that pep talk I gave a couple days ago certainly didn't work.
The Dallas Mavericks lead by 25.
Well, this was 31-30.
Right.
Just 7 or 8 minutes ago.
Right.
You're talking 30-5. Wow. A 30-5 run.
There are blank faces on the Laker bench. Silence in the Staples Center as Griffin is called for the foul as he grabbed Kobe Bryant. I mean, listen to this place. Other than the smooth voice of the PA announcer, there is nothing going on here. Folks are in shock. First foul in the last 2 minutes. And Jack. He's normally stoic and speechless during Laker games. Shaw dumped down to Walker. Nice look, and even that won't go with a 3-time chance.
Who's raining down?
Nowitzki, who will take the final shot for Dallas. It'll be Dirk. Scoop, score, and he'll shoot a free throw. Unbelievable.
Man alive. Well, someone's got to come help. I mean, you got Brian Shaw, got a Dirk Nowitzki. Go figure. He scored on him. Someone's got to get down there and help him out and make him pitch it back out. Brian Shaw can't guard Dirk Nowitzki down to the block.
Nowitzki adds the free throw. He has 16. This half is over. The Laker fans let you know what they think of their team's effort. See a game that's a 1-point game with 9:45 left in the half become the largest halftime deficit the Lakers have faced all year, the largest deficit they've faced this entire season. Mavs start the second half with Nowitzki. They now pick up where he left off, and Shaq pulls down the rebound.
Well, if you're the Lakers, you just got a nice big slap in the face right there in the first half. And you don't even think about winning the basketball game right now. You think about winning the third quarter. You think about putting together a good 5-minute stretch and move along from there. But play hard and give yourself some hope.
Bryant now 1 of 5 shooting. Nash got the rebound and pushed it. Adrian Griffin, a nice fake on Fox and lefty layup. Makes it the largest deficit the Lakers have faced all season. Down 30.
If this were the first basketball game you'd ever watch and you try to tell somebody this is 3-time defending champions, they'd say, who died? Who's not playing this year that played the last couple years? This does not look like a team that's a 3-time defending champion.
Chemistry and injuries, all the uncertainty at the 5 spot, the 4 spot through the injuries. Fisher beat the clock and hit a 3. The absence of the Lakers' ability to hit an outside shot has really been glaring at different points this year, but no more glaring than that stretch at the end of the first half. John Bradley starts this half for the Lakers on the screen and roll with Nash. Kobe gets the rebound. Fox has the top shut off. Bryant out top trying to get going, turns it over. Nash to the ground to get it. 3-on-2. But the Lakers got back. Nowitzki drives on Ori. And his shot blocked by Kobe. He may be struggling on the offensive end, but the effort is not to make.
Well, I think it's interesting, too, when you watch the Lakers. They are not getting out in the open court and trying to give themselves easy bucket opportunities. There's one by Fox right there, getting to the bucket, drawing the contact, and getting to the lines. But a lot of the shots the Mavericks are taking, yeah, I mean, 10 for 14 from three-point lands, 10 for 14. But a lot of those are wide open shots. And right here, you can see Rick Fox not settling for the jump shot. Let's take it in there and force the issue a little bit and see if we can get to the free throw line and not settle for jump shots. That's the thing that I would imagine infuriates Phil Jackson a little bit. You keep shooting and you keep missing. Well, let's change up.
You saw Fox shaking that right hand. He's able to make the free throw to put the Lakers on a mini 6-0 spurt. Los Angeles looking to avoid the 7-14 start. You're already in third worst position of the prior 57 NBA champions. Griffin eases it in off the rim.
Sweet pass. That was just just to get baseline, hair's going everywhere, flick it with the left hand. Guy's wide open, 5-foot jump shot. I mean, that's a nice shot by Griffin, but Nash made that play.
6th assist on the night for Steve Nash. Mavericks defense. Foul on Bryant. Grabbing the arm on the way by, and the Dallas defense forces it down.
And you figure you got in a good position right here. You got going baseline, Shaq's gonna cut him off. Whoop. Think you got him? Do I have to pay Berman $5 for doing that?
No, you don't.
Okay.
Not after midnight on the East Coast. So both O'Neal and Bryant have picked up a couple of offensive fouls here this evening. Each have 3 personals. Nowitzki, tough shot. Orion is mugged defensively.
And I'm impressed with the Mavericks transition, not offense, but defense. They're getting back. That's one of the reasons the Lakers haven't been able to get any easy baskets, is the Mavericks are making a concerted effort to get 3 and 4 guys back.
Phil Jackson told me before the game, concerted effort. He repeated the phrase a couple of times. That's what he needed to see from his Lakers, and certainly this second half will test that desired appearance for the Lakers. So it's going to be all about effort coming back from down 28 at the break. Ori open for 3.
And that's what I talk about a lot, is that three-pointer is much different than it is pass around the perimeter three-pointer. That's an aggressive three-pointer where you get somebody driving to the bucket, forcing the issue, and then you kick it out in rhythm.
Bradley has O'Neal away from the basket. Finley unable to connect.
And just the drive right here, the pump fake. Look at that. 4 guys around Kobe Bryant. That leaves a wide open Robert Horry, although Finley did give a nice effort to try to get back out there and recover.
Lakers scored just 12 points in the third quarter. In the second quarter, they already have 9 here in the third. Nowitzki comes over to block Bryant. What a frustrating night this has been for Kobe. Nash on the bounce to Griffin. He's fouled. Well, a reminder of the national TV games coming up on ESPN and TNT next week. Blazers next, and then these Mavs against the Spurs. Well, Wednesday doubleheader on ESPN, and the TNT Thursday night action will be Detroit in Chicago and New Orleans taking on the Jazz. Still sounds weird. New Orleans taking on the Jazz. But we'll see the Hornets in Utah. One
See
more.
Adrian Griffin in the line, and I'm thinking Mitch Kupchak. He's thinking, well, let me find something good. Nothing good. No, let me just throw that away. That's not going to help you right now. But I was going to say Griffin at the line, but that break started with Nowitzki with the block shot. I mean, that's a great luxury to be able to have a 7-footer that can block a shot and start the break. I mean, he's leading your team in rebounds, and he can also push and start the break. And at that point, he's the one that initiated that break.
Well, this is down to Shaq, and he is fouled by Griffin. You saw Mitch Kupchak checking that first half stat sheet that showed nothing pretty on the LA end.
And you watch the block right here, and he blocks it. It's a 7-footer block, got the ball, and he's the one that's going to start the break. He doesn't have to wait to find the point guard or find the off guard. He can do it himself, and that is when things happen quickly.
Shaq has one more coming. O'Neal was pretty good from the line in the first half for
Did
him.
Nowitzki spritz his hair at halftime? Look at that. I think, because it was a little drier when he went at halftime. I think he spritzed it.
You could get Nowitzki and Nash on like The View or something like that, or Regis and Kelly for a makeover segment, and they would, you know, just the hair makeover would be outstanding. Get one of those foo-foo shishi guys who charges $400 to cut a half-inch of hair, use a curling iron, and misfired, rebound by Bryant. And it becomes a 5-hour process to cut. Did you ever notice that? Those big salons in New York or LA? Kobe on the take, couldn't finish. Again, Kobe Bryant stymied here tonight. 1 of 7 from the field, and Dirk knocks down a triple. 4 3-pointers for Nowitzki. The MVP of the World Basketball Championships in Indianapolis this past summer. He led the German team to a bronze medal. Dirk reached around and calls for the foul. Good acting. Benny Adams didn't believe him.
I'm going to see Kobe with the aggressive move right here to the middle, and yeah, that's just one of those where you say, okay, okay. Give me that guy's been one of those kind of nights, huh? I see it coming.
Well, what do we say? Bryant's 1 of 7. He was 5 of 14 in the loss at Utah, so he was struggling from the field. See, those things are just inexplicable. 3-on-2, Nash on the bounce. Lakers get back. Griffin will reset it. Mavs led by 28 at the break. They lead by 27 as we approach the halfway point of quarter number 3. Nash missed a 3, and Fox comes down with the rebound. I think the Lakers are at 3-quarter speed. The Mavs are contributing to that. They're getting back so quick. It's a blue wave coming back, Tom.
Yep. They're pushing on the offensive end and then making sure you don't push on the defensive end. And right now, they just can't put anything in the hole.
Finley was left free on a defensive miscommunication, and O'Neal gets the rebound. Very quiet third quarter here for Shaq. And the frustrated Laker fans now, after admonishing their team, tries to inspire them. Here's the big fella inside, and one. First shot this quarter for O'Neal, and he'll have a chance for the old-fashioned three-point play after this timeout.
Well, they've been doing it defensively this quarter, holding him to 9 points. Offensively, that's a good shot at getting the bucket right there. You get the big fella, 2 feet in the paint, turn, shoot, and that's the way to get yourself, well, if not back in the game, at least within shouting distance.
Turnovers as well, and in early foul trouble. Shaq 8 of 13 from the free throw line this evening. So O'Neal's free throw shooting's been fine. Yeah. I'm telling you, I'll repeat what I said in the first half time. Shaq hasn't been the problem since he's come back from his injury. His production's there. Maybe he's not 100%, but he's not what's hurting the Lakers. It's everybody else. Finley in and out, Fisher the ball.
Well, no one can shoot. And it doesn't seem like Kobe is, for some reason, as aggressive as he should be.
Nice look there, and Ray for the French, who got the start tonight for the Mavs, picked up the foul.
And I know you want to get it to the big guy. You don't want to forget about Shaquille O'Neal, but everybody else has got to figure out a way how they can be involved in the offense. You can't just stand and watch and say, this is our man. Let's get him the ball and stand around. You got to move, you got to cut, and you got to figure out a way to get yourself involved in the offense.
Shaq was the one who called everybody out on the Lakers. Said no excuses. Got to do this together. He lit a fire under this team and said, no, I need to touch it more. I need to see guys who want to be out there and working just as hard on the basketball court. And some people in LA, not with the Lakers, but observers of the Lakers, the media, some of the newspapers, raised the point as Van Exel shoots the 3 that O'Neal was the one who chose to get the multiple opinions and wait until September 11th for his toe surgery. Thus, his delaying that surgical process in the offseason may have put the Lakers behind this 8 ball, so it was not Shaq's duty to call his team out so early. Beautiful pass from Bryant to Fisher. Gets the Lakers within 21. It's neither here nor there what will shake down on that when all is said and done, but when you are a leader, as Bryant and O'Neal are, part of your job is to do it by performance, and when the performance is there, call out everybody else, and that's what Shaq did. Yeah, after the loss to Utah. Undefensible. And Exel gets it back to 23.
Oh, the Yugoslavian judge gives him 9 1/2. That's a tough boy. If there's like degree of difficulties on shots, the Mavericks might have about 92 right now, let alone the 75 they already do have.
Bryant this time taking it. Fox discards Nash. Acting by Steve and Rick, who is the actor of the group. Shaq for an easy 2. 75-54 inside of 4 minutes.
Well, at least there's a pulse this second half. There was no pulse. They were DOA in the first half. In the second half, they've come out and tried to make a concerted effort on the defensive end, be aggressive on the offensive end, and get on the glass on the offensive end.
Fisher trying to hound Van Exel, but he gets called for the foul. Trying to fight around Finley and Phil Jackson. Can't believe the 3rd foul called on Fisher. Lakers had a players-only meeting yesterday. Nash kept the dribble alive, and that's a Laker ball. Nothing happened as the shot clock went off. This Maverick zone defense, a little better solving of it the last few trips. Fans wanted the foul. Lakers kept it alive, and Bryant Van Exel on the way through. Nelly can't believe it. Everybody's looking for every call here tonight.
Yeah, just to go back to you talking about the Lakers calling their team meetings. Team meetings are stupid. They never. I've never been involved in a team meeting that's actually worked. I mean, you know exactly what you need to do. And let's watch Shaq right here getting the ball underneath the bucket. Man, put a quarter in his ear for crying out loud. You're gonna write it like that. Even Christmas. I think a lot of people, you know, Shaq is physical. He plays a physical brand of basketball, but he gets a lot of shots that I think go undetected by the officials because they say, well, he's big, he can handle it. It's not really whether you can handle it or not, is it a foul or not? And a lot of times I think he takes some abuse down low. No, certainly he dishes it out, but maybe sometimes fouls are warranted when he doesn't get them.
Finley from the outside, in rhythm and smooth, so as soon as it got under 20, Michael Finley knocked down his first 3-pointer. It's been a very poor shooting night for Finley. 3 of 14 from the field, but that one extends it to 22. Dallas has hit 12 of 18 threes. Bryant certainly being more aggressive with his offense despite his shooting woes tonight. Now 6 points for Kobe. Nowitzki has Kobe, tries to use the size mismatch. Kick to Finley, kick to Van Exel. Kick for 3.
How many open looks have we seen tonight for the Mavericks? Let alone makes, just good open looks.
We talk about them getting back on defense. Their ball rotation has been exemplary throughout this opening 17 in one stretch. And we got to keep reminding ourselves we're watching one of the best starts in the 57-year history of this league. Shaq got the board, forced the shot, and the French the rebound. You can understand some impatience from the guys in the goal. Van Exel trying to lose Fox. Lost him. Got the 2.
Rick Fox needed LoJack to find Nick Van Exel. Like, where'd he go?
22 points in 21 minutes. Nick Van Exel, a starter most of his career, has not seen his production go down, even though his minutes have. Fox hits a 3. Keep doing a double take when you look at the bottom right of the screen.
Yeah.
22. That's why.
13 for 19.
That's 39-9 right there.
Yep.
Exactly.
How about 42?
Arizona education, very valuable. Tom helping the team, GPA. Very nice. Mavs up 25. Mav ball after this timeout. Last touch by the Lakers. We'll visit with their owner, Mark Cuban. He's got to feel good about his team's chances. Since he's owned the team, they've never won in L.A. The last time they won in L.A.
Fantastic. Did you expect it to come to this or be like this in the third quarter?
You got a whole quarter to go, but don't expect this now.
All right, man.
I'll take it.
You'll take it all day, won't you?
Exactly. How about them Mavericks, baby?
Thank you, Sal. A couple of misses here. Michael Finley, though, chases down the rebound, and that's the concerted effort that Phil Jackson was talking about seeing. 3 tries on this trip for Dallas. Three-second difference. Game and shot clock. Van Exel trying to take Fisher. He's taking everybody all night. The putback by Williams. So 4 different opportunities for Dallas. L.A. couldn't get its hand on the board as the quarter comes to a close. Bryant. Foul called, and that's it. 2-3. It was 28 at the break. It's 27. Off we go to the fourth quarter. Offensive team in the league has kept Kobe Bryant in check tonight, Tom.
Struggled all night long from the early on, the misstep on there, the missed catch on the alley-oop, the block by Dirk Nowitzki, the throwaway, one of his 5 turnovers, and then even when you're getting good looks, sometimes they just don't go down. 2 for 11. You see him giving right there. I'm just wondering if early on maybe he wasn't feeling as good as he could be because he hasn't been as aggressive, at least in the first half when the Lakers were getting blown out, as you usually see Kobe.
I remember the knee tendonitis, and then we saw that sleeve on his leg a couple of weeks ago, one of our Wednesday night games that Brad and Bill did in Orlando. We're looking for the Bryant-McGrady head-to-head showdown, which was a good offensive production night on both sides. When you look at the Lakers and their win total, there's 7 wins. Nash missed, rebound by Shaw for L.A. I remember that 2 of those wins came over Memphis, one over Chicago, the Clippers, Portland, all teams under 500 here. So the Lakers don't even have a good win yet this year.
No, it's amazing. And the Mavericks obviously have a whole bunch of good wins, and they're stomping people by 13 points on average. I mean, 13-point margin of victory. They're scoring over 100 points, 103 points. The defense giving up only 90 points. I mean, that's when you're laying it on people, and that's when you know you're a good team. They're not just squeaking by these teams. They're thumping these teams.
Comes Nash down the lane, the left-hand runner. Extends the lead out to 26. Steve Nash continuing his very solid night. 16 points, a couple of 3-pointers. He's also added 6 assists. Bryant gets field goal number 3 on the evening. The Dallas Mavericks tonight, from 2-point range, are shooting 37%. From 3-point range, they're shooting 67%.
Well, how about over the last couple games? I mean, you go back 7 quarters into the Portland game, 27 for 48, 56% from beyond the arc. Well, now 27 for 49. I don't really feel like figuring that out. Let's call it 54%.
Close enough. Shaq the catch. Finley grabbed him. In the act, 2 shots coming. Well, Dallas's field goal defense has been a point of emphasis for Don Nelson and company this year. You see how poor they were last year at 45%. They've improved drastically tonight. They're keeping the Lakers there at 41. And Mark Cuban told me during the summer that was one of the goals with this team this year, to bring down that field goal percentage from 46, around to 46, just down to 44. Just bring it down a couple of points, and you start looking at a few points a game, and you see what a difference that would make. And that's one of the things that he pushed with Nelly and the staff this year. And to see where it is now at 41%, well below the league average of 43.3, is beyond what they had hoped for. And they've done it essentially by using a lot of zone defense relative to the rest of the league.
Yeah.
And it's worked.
And the question is, when teams start figuring out that zone defense, can they start relying on man-to-man defense? Eventually, that's what they'd like to get to, is the man-to-man.
Devin George runs the floor on the feed by Bryant. And it's a 21-point Maverick lead at 90-69. Lakers applying a little pressure to try somehow to get a run, get back within a dozen points before we get halfway through this quarter. Nash lost Shaw, got to the cup.
Right.
And when O'Neal's not there, there's nobody. And you look, George and Shaw talking, miscommunication on the defensive end. And these are combinations that haven't been out there much this year.
Well, what happened is Rachel Friends, who can shoot the ball, sucked Shaq out to run the top of the key, and then you have nobody back there to defend the bucket. Yeah, that's what they're talking about right there, is who needs to rotate over and cover up for the shooter. I mean, they've been there, though. I mean, these guys should know by now. I don't care if Shaq's there or not. I mean, Devin's been there. Brian Shaw's a veteran. Shaq getting the easy layup. I mean, those are things you know.
Even though Devin George is just his 4th game back, hasn't played a ton of minutes in the prior 3.
Oh, but I guess the point is, it's not like this is his 4th game ever playing basketball.
Okay.
I mean, he's been a part of these championship teams with Los Angeles. You just got to get your head on right. And you got to be into. If you're into the game, you don't make those type of mistakes.
Williams catch and shoot. The clock running down. Tracy Murray, the rebound. Need a spurt with a few stops. Kobe takes it, tries the acrobatic shot, and will shoot a couple of free throws. Foul on Rafe LaFrance. 4 on LaFrance, 3 on the Mavs here in the 4th quarter. Mitch Kupchak is answering questions now all across the board. Do he and Phil Jackson need to find another piece to come in here and make a roster move? Do Bryant and Shaq need some help? Or is it just a matter of time? I think the next 8 games for LA are very important because it's 8 games to Christmas. And on Christmas night on ABC, the Lakers play Sacramento for the first time. Dallas is the best team thus far. Sacramento's the team on the radar in terms of the Lakers in this Pacific Division of the Western Conference. But if the Lakers are still struggling like this 8 games from now, Christmas is going to have some high anxiety for LA.
Well, the Kings may be on the radar, but there's certainly another blip.
Shaq, 17-point game. Lakers need to make defensive stops. O'Neal has 24, by the way, here tonight, including 10 of 17 from the line. Sean Bradley's going to come in next dead ball. The Lakers have had a lot of field goals in the paint this 4th quarter. Van Exel. Oh, those shots that were going earlier are not now.
Well, they've tried to slow it down, and maybe rightfully so. You're up 20 points, you want to run a little bit of clock, but sometimes you can get out of sync, and you can't just flick it right back on.
Tracy Murray fouled shooting 3, and couldn't get it to go. It was shooting 2. His toe was on the tape. You can see up to 40 NBA games per week. Log on to NBA.com. Sign up for NBA League Pass to get in on all the action. Must do if you are an NBA fan. Dialing around the dish this week. Watch the Mavs go to Portland, shoot 13 threes. Beat the Blazers by 15. Murray makes the first. 11th year man who comes back to California. Here at UCLA for his college days. 6th different team. 15 with 7.5 to go. Larger mountains have been scaled. Off Van Exel, Laker ball. LA was down 30, and the Staples Center is full of fans who came to make some noise. They will if the Lakers get closer. Bryant on the dunk. Nash coming back in for Dallas.
Well, no longer are they standing around. It's getting the ball, getting to the hole, and being aggressive with the finish right there. Just blew by Michael Finley, and no one quick enough to get over there and help. And right now it's the Mavericks who are struggling for offense. Throwing the ball away the last couple times, and the Lakers feeling extremely confident.
Many of the fans in the Staples Center on their feet. It's been a hot shooting quarter. George adds to it with a 3. Timeout Dallas. And they're rocking the Staples Center after a 15-0 LA run. 66-36, down 28 at the break. The Lakers have scored the last 15 and have made it a 10-point game. Inside of 7 minutes, all of a sudden, there's life in L.A. Standing and cheering goes to the timeout. Here at the Staples Center, the Lakers, a 21-point first half of the fourth quarter. And Mark Cuban and the Mavs, over bunches of uniform designs, coaches, owners, players, have seen every possible way of losing to the Lakers in L.A. They've lost the last 23 trips out here to play the Lakers. Once leading by 30, it's now 10 with 6.5 to go. Nash back in the game. Got fouled.
Well, the Mavericks need to get back to doing what they were doing to get them that 27-point lead at the end of 3. Push the ball up, open opportunities. Let's go ahead and take them. Sometimes with a huge lead, you say, well, let's run some shot clock, let's work some clock, not let them get back into it. And what you end up doing is getting yourself out of your rhythm.
He set the shot to 14. Bryant has Nash defensively. Tracy Murray's been in for most of this stretch. Finley shoots over him. Rebound, Brian Shaw. Finley is 4 of 18 from the field. Lakers can make it 8 or 7 with a Murray 3. Rebound, Van Exel.
Got caught up in the moment there. It was like, hey, this is exciting. Let's go ahead and jack one of these up there.
Nowitzki, size advantage.
Whoa.
Tried the rotation. Threw it away. Mark Madsen telling Rick Fox, get up, give me some off the bench. Madsen, who had a start with his high energy in the last few games for the Lakers, has not been off the bench tonight. Kobe taking Finley into the paint, turning on Finley. 8-point game.
Well, you would think someone's going to come over and help. At 5 dribbles in the paint, someone's going to come over there and force him to pass that ball out.
8 in the quarter for Bryant, 14 in the game. Bradley rolled to the goal. Devin George got a piece, but also got a little bit of body as well.
Boy, that was close right there. You see right there, good recognition by Bradley, getting over, and I say no.
Say no?
I say no. I think that may have been. Let me look one more time. Nah. Nah, I'm going to give him a block on that one. Not that what I want to do matters, but you see right here, this is a point where you have to come over. 1, 2, 3. 3 dribbles in the paint. Someone's got to get over there and make him pass the ball out. Kobe's too good for that.
Bradley, he and his wife, parents of 5 children. His first son in the family, Sean Chance, was born about 6 weeks ago, 20.5 inches. But you get a longer kid from Sean Bradley's male offspring. Congratulations to he and his wife. Proud parents of 5. The lead is 10 as we approach 5. Kobe, feeling it offensively, was fouled on the cut across by Nowitzki. Dirk is having trouble getting back on the floor.
Yeah, and you wonder why it takes the Lakers 3.5 quarters to get to this aggressive style of basketball. Because in the first half, it was pass it around the perimeter, shoot a jump shot, get back on defense, and they know how to play. I mean, everybody on this team's a veteran. They know how to do things. And in the fourth quarter, you're seeing a Laker team that's the aggressive Laker team that we've come to know.
Remember, I mentioned early team fouls were 3-0. That was the 5th team foul on the Mavs. The Lakers have only committed 2. Horry in for Murray. Tom was talking about how the Lakers have gotten better shots, 80% from the field here. Stark contrast to the first 36 minutes. Within 8. Kobe has 10 this quarter, 16 on the night.
And now it's the Mavericks. You know they're thinking, my goodness, we had a 30-point lead in this game. It's not, we have an 8-point lead with 5 minutes to go, which is great under normal circumstances.
Nowitzki goes to the goal, foul. The last few trips, the Lakers have been close defensively, but they've picked up the foul.
This is a good going baseline there. Someone's going to get over. Kobe trying to get over and take a swipe at it, and he ends up getting the foul. Win or lose, this fourth quarter is going to be a positive for Phil Jackson. He can tell this team, look, this is how we have to play. This is the style of basketball we have to play to beat teams in this league. We haven't had a good win yet, and even if you lose this game, I think they can all look back on the fourth quarter, and sure, I mean, Dallas let off the gas pedal a little bit, and the Lakers were making some shots, but the Lakers had a lot to do with that in the way that they played.
Extraordinary free throw shooting from the best free throw shooting unit in the league. Mavs average 82% tonight. They are over 90. Dallas led by 28 at the break. And an unbelievable run to end the first half. 33-5, led by 30 here in the second half. But the Lakers have fought back, trying to feed O'Neal, and turned it over. Finley comes away with it for Dallas. Become more of a Laker half-court game as opposed to the free flow earlier. Dallas looking for its third field goal of this fourth quarter. Nash will shoot it. Horry, the rebound.
Oh, I would hazard a guess that they've drained the shot clock under 10 seconds more in this quarter than they did the first three.
Yep. Good call. Shaw feeds the big fella. Touch pass to Horry. Back out Kobe. Strokes three. Within 7 at the 4-minute mark. That's why you never turn off a sporting event. Van Exel down the lane. Shaq turned him away. Nowitzki got Horry to fly by. Missed it. Rebound Bryant.
Shots are a little bit tougher right now.
Here's Bryant. Lost his man. Got to the cup. 5-point game. And the Mavericks defense is falling apart here in the fourth. The Lakers have scored 30 in this quarter. Half of them by Bryant. Unbelievable turnaround. Nash goes all the way. Missed it. Lakers could cut it to 3. Shaw, the veteran, says patience. Horry, who loves the big shot. The big fella on Bradley, across the lane. Permanent goal!
Wow. Oh, my. Boy, just the change of flow. Everything's down, and all of a sudden, 27-point lead. 27-point lead going into the fourth quarter, and the Lakers catch fire. Now it's the Mavericks who are thinking, how did we let this thing slip away?
Lane violation on Bradley. Shaq gets another one. A complete meltdown by the Mavericks. And Del Harris calls for time. It is a 26-4 run for the Lakers.
Well, you want to know how they got back into the basketball game? It was a little bit of everything. Starting on the defensive end, great pass right there by Shaq. Kick back out, Kobe Bryant three-pointer spotting up, and now everybody's on fire. It's like, hey, I can get a piece of this. Kobe going to the bucket, right by Sean Bradley. He's been much more aggressive in the fourth quarter. And then Shaq, quick move, again around Sean Bradley. If you're going to foul him, make sure to score. Right there, he gets a 2. And Mark Madsen, the Laker bench, everybody in Staples on fire.
It's been a long time, 13 years, or a dozen years, excuse me, since the Mavericks won at the Lakers. Phenomenal difference here in this fourth quarter.
We look at the second and the fourth. I mean, the Mavericks smoked them in the second. Now the Lakers doing the same to them in the fourth quarter.
How can this Maverick team have an 8-point quarter? This after the Sean Bradley lane violation. O'Neal unable to cash in. It remains a 3-point game at the 3-minute mark.
Well, you get out of your game plan is what happens. I mean, you get out of the way, you play basketball, you decide we're going to bleed the clock a little bit on them instead of taking shots when they're there.
Nowitzki trying to take Shaq. O'Neal won't let him around. He can't get around. And now O'Neal is called for the foul.
Well, you can't expect Shaq to get. I think Shaq did a great job in stopping the initial move. You're talking about Nowitzki 7 foot a lot quicker than Shaq. Shaq doing a good job, but you can't expect him to stop the initial move and then get all the way back over to the middle of the court and stop Nowitzki.
Next foul, and the Mavs are in the penalty. O'Neal has played 38 minutes tonight. He's put up 26 points to go with 11 rebounds. 5 to shoot. Nash has nothing going. And he's got Shaq. His eyes opened up. He saw the lane. Oh, got the 2. Big shot by the Canadian. The Mavs have just scored 3 field goals in this quarter, all by Nash. Bryant takes Finley around Nowitzki. Beautiful move by Kobe. Wow. What a quarter he's having, Tom. He has 17 of LA's 34 in the fourth. 3-point game approaching the 2-minute mark. Time the recovery by Shaw defensively. Nash tries to get there again over O'Neal and a foul. So the aggressive dribble penetration of Nash, the difference the last 2 trips.
You watch right here, that's Shaq on him. He's going to dribble back out, create some more space for himself, an area to go by him, and then flip. I mean, that's getting up quick. And then just extremely impressed with Kobe's aggressiveness in the fourth quarter here. Everything going to the hole, going to force the action, a swing left-handed reverse layup.
Second best free throw shooter in the league. Nash makes the first.
Yeah, that's where they have a big advantage. At the end of the game, if you have to foul them, they're more than comfortable with going up there and hitting free throws at the end of the game.
Walt Williams out, Sean Bradley in. The foul on O'Neal was 5. Both teams in the bonus the rest of the way. Nash now has 22 points. The Mavs have made 22 of 24 from the start.
I think I might want to just get it back to Kobe, unless you can get an entry pass directly into Shaq, get it to Kobe, and let him create off the dribble.
Van Exel's got him defensively. Bryant penetrates. Good call, Tommy. Unbelievable quarter for Bryant. At just 2 at the break, 19 in this quarter, 25 for the game. Sports Center follows us. Nash lost. Bryant got all the way in. Oh, couldn't finish. Laker rebound. The Lakers can tie a game that they trailed by 30 on this trip. Shaw for the tie. Tigers at 100. Phenomenal comeback by LA. Timeout Dallas.
Kobe right here, just extremely aggressive, going to go strong to the hole and finish it off. It's amazing. Are you kidding me? A 27-point deficit, and everybody's feeling no pain right now. It's like, yeah, let's bring it on. I'm 0 for 3. I can make it. Devin Jones with the 3-pointer. Brian Shaw, 3-pointer. Kobe going to the hoop. And I'm telling you, Dallas, it's a lesson to be learned.
Lakers have made up a 25-point deficit in the last 8.5 minutes.
Well, you got to get the ball to Steve Nash's hand and look for a pick and roll right there, and he's going to try to create a mismatch.
Back to Nowitzki. They shut off the shot. Top shot. Dirk couldn't make it. Ori fights for the rebound. It was fouled. Took the worst of it. Was fouled by Walt Williams with 1:18 to go.
What a tough shot by Nowitzki. I mean, that's one where guys right in your face, you're fading away. Tough to get it in.
Well, they took away the bread and butter, the screen and roll with Nowitzki and Nash. The Lakers have not led tonight. They trailed 66 to 36.
Now to 1 for 5 from the free throw line. And you wonder what this does psychologically for either of these two teams. If Dallas ends up pulling out this game, that we can blow a lead and we can still have the mettle to win a game like this. Lakers, they've won the championship, so you're not so much concerned with them psychologically. But boy, if you're the Mavericks, you lose this game. I feel like you can never win here.
For the first time tonight, the Lakers lead. Drafted him, he knocks down a 3. Mavs on top by 2. Buck 4 to go. Timeout LA.
I didn't think about it. Did not think about it. Just catch, fire, release.
Nick Van Exel, 5 of 8 from behind the arc tonight, 25 points.
That was just catch and shoot right there. And Nash right over to Nick Van Exel, and he didn't give that a second thought. And the Dallas Mavericks back thinking, hey, maybe we can end this losing streak here. This is where you want to get the ball to Kobe right here and let him penetrate and find people. But if I'm Dallas, I'm doubling. I'm not letting him get to the bucket, and I'm probably going to try to come off a guy like Devin George and not let him get a shot up.
Into the zone, Shaw ties the game again at 103.
Or you give it a shot. He's made 2 in a row.
Ryan Shaw, the veteran, stepping up to hit big shots. Nash off the screen with LaFrance. Missed it. Rafe crashed the glass. Jump ball is called.
Wow.
Jump ball, they
They
say.
had a foul underneath the bucket.
And Ron Olesiak had the foul on the outside. Benny Adams had the jump ball, and he wins out. Nelly's crossed midcourt. He's down here in the offensive half looking for the call.
Well, Rick LaFrance in good position getting the ball. Let's see. That's a foul. I know you got to be tough with the ball, but you go over someone's back to give yourself an advantage. That's a foul. And the underneath official had a foul.
George and LaFrance jump. Rafe got it. Fresh shot clock for the Mavs.
You got to get 2 for 1 here. Give yourself the last chance of winning the game.
Kobe climbs over the screen. Nash crosses him in the lane. Lost it. Shaq has it. 5-second difference. Game and shot clock. Lakers have 2 timeouts. Game is tied at 103.
The Brian Shaw guy you normally wouldn't be concerned about, but he's hit 2 in a row, so you better be cognizant of where that veteran is.
In Kobe's hands, 8 to go. Bryant's had an unbelievable quarter. He spins, he shoots. Lakers lead. Timeout Mavs. 8.4 to go.
And just a great individual effort by Kobe Bryant right there. Nick Van Exel does a good job cutting him off, but he's going to spin, no help. I mean, that is a heck of a shot right there. That's a tough one. Your body's floating away from where you want to shoot the ball. Get it up and good.
George and Ori, the 5 on the floor for LA. There you see all time the largest halftime deficit overcome. The 79 Bulls are down 25. Lakers down 28 at the break, trying to make NBA history here tonight. Nash drives on Bryant, lost his footing, Finley to the outside, missed the 3. Rebound, Lakers win! The Lakers with the greatest comeback from a halftime deficit in the history of the NBA. And all is well in the land of the champions. For the 24th straight time, the Mavericks lose a game at LA against the Lakers. No acting there.